Hi, my name is Justin Sweeney. I'm an immigration attorney here in Fresno, California, and am posting a new video regarding the decision by President Trump today to rescind DACA. Um, Again, just a brief introduction of what DACA is, or Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It gives people who were brought here as children, they have to prove that they were brought here before they were 16, that they don't have any major criminal activities or arrests or convictions, and it allows them to gain a 2-year renewable work permit as long as they can prove those things and that they've lived here continuously since June 15, 2007. Today, the law no longer, or it has been rescinded by President Trump. Ironically, he has stated that it is because it was an executive order that he is rescinding it, and that's not how we should pass immigration law, yet he passed similar laws with his Muslim travel ban. So they're not super consistent decisions by him. But needless to say, I want to review a few things from the actual printout of what happened today. They're not going to accept any new initial requests as of today. They will potentially allow you to file for a renewal if and only if, and I want to read this exactly right, for current beneficiaries whose benefits will expire between the date of today and March 5th, 2018, as long as they are filed by October 5th. So if you think you fall within those timelines, you should give my office a call or your current attorney a call and file your renewal as soon as possible so that you can at least enjoy benefits for a few more months. The only possible good thing that could happen from what happened today is that Trump did invite Congress to pass laws the way that they're supposed to be passed, to be quite honest. Congress is supposed to pass laws, the president signs them. Congress has failed to act on this for decades, especially with President Obama. He was imploring them to pass laws, and they failed to do anything, which is why he, as a measure of prosecutorial discretion, which he is entitled to do, by the way, there's a great argument that he was entitled to do it anyway. But the act today, rescinding DACA, is unfortunately going to affect almost 1 million people. And it's really important also to understand what are your options. I've already met with some people this morning who are frustrated by the decision. Many of the people that have DACA are eligible for what's called an I-130, a spousal petition. They're either dating or potentially married, hopefully, to a citizen or a lawful permanent resident and could file for a green card that way. I was using frequently in my practice a kind of a loophole for those that qualified. If you had DACA, you could file for what's called advanced parole, go to visit some sick family member in Mexico or your home country. And there's a few other humanitarian or professional or scholastic reasons you could do that. Go back to another country, come back in legally, and when you did that, if you were married to a U.S. citizen, you could file for adjustment of status and get a green card here in the United States without having to go back to your home country and win a waiver. That process is no longer applicable because today, in the memo issued by DHS, they said that they're not going to adjudicate any more advanced parole documents based on DACA, unfortunately. So those people may be eligible to file for consular processing and a waiver, and they should do that if they're eligible. Another issue to discuss is that there are many people, and I got this in my previous video with many comments, basically stating that we should deport all people that are here illegally, and there's roughly 12 million. Now, it's really important to understand a few things. Number one, Congress does not give us the resources to deport them. Like, even if that's really what you wanted to do, we literally don't have the money or the manpower to do it. And number one, we don't know where they live. So there's a huge number, millions of people that are here undocumented that we don't know where they live. So, and we can't stop people based on the way they look. We can't just go door to door and stop people because they are brown or something and say, where's your papers? We don't live in Nazi Germany anymore. So you can't do that. It's illegal. It's against our Constitution to do that, to racial profile, basically. So we can't stop people in the streets, and if we don't know where they are and they don't have crimes, they never get into the system, and so we literally don't know where they are living. Now, even if you assume that we could figure out where they live and that we could go pick them up, who's going to pay for all that? And why do we want to deport these roughly 800,000 DACA applicants? These are people that were brought here as kids. That the only country that they know is America. They're as American as you or me. They speak English. They're going to school, or they've already graduated high school and they're just trying to go to college, get a job. They don't have crimes. They've already passed significant background checks. It's actually, and people don't understand this, it's more difficult to get a work permit under DACA than it is to get a green card through your spouse. Literally, some of the requirements are more strict. A DUI is a good example. You could have a DUI, and that law has actually changed recently, but about 2 years ago, you couldn't get a provisional waiver with a DUI conviction. Now you can. You can get a provisional waiver approved even though you have a DUI conviction. Guess what you can't get with a DUI conviction? You can't get a work permit through DACA, but you can get a green card. You can get a waiver approved for your unlawful presence with a DUI conviction, but you can't get a work permit, which again just doesn't make sense. I'm all for the standards though, but it's just weird how totally varying the standards are. Also, one other thing that a lot of DACA people qualify for, and I've been writing it on the back of business cards for almost anyone that comes in, whether they're DACA approved or not. A lot of them are qualified for what's called cancellation of removal, which requires, among other things, basically that I prove that they've been here for 10 years, which any DACA applicant would have been because they would have had to prove they were here from June 15, 2007 until now. It's now 2017, so they've been here for 10 years. And that they don't have certain crimes, which again, DACA applicants don't have crimes almost ever. And in the particular requirement here is that they're not aggravated felons, which is a really high bar. So they don't have, as long as they don't have any significant crimes, they've been here for 10 years, and I also have to prove that someone, it's called a qualifying relative, will suffer exceptionally and unusually extreme unusual hardship. So, for example, they're suffering emotionally, psychologically, medically, financially. We have to prove up hardship. This is not an easy case to win, but it's really important to understand that those that are here that are maybe scared because DACA has been taken away, what if ICE picks me up? What if I'm at work and I get picked up? What if I get pulled over for speeding and they realize that I'm not here? It's really important to understand that you should never ever never ever sign for your voluntary departure. You have rights. You can request a hearing before a judge. Call me, call some other lawyer that you trust, and tell them that you want to file this application. It's called cancellation of removal, and that you want a hearing before a judge. Ironically, so even if we went and dedicated the resources to pick up these 12 million people, a lot of the 800,000 DACA recipients qualify for cancellation of removal. And because of that, guess what they get when they're in court proceedings? They get a work permit, which is the very thing that the people don't want to give them under DACA. All they want is a work permit. And if they're in court proceedings and we go pick up these people, many of the DACA people already qualify and many of the non-DACA people qualify. There's a lot of undocumented people here that came here illegally 20 years ago, have a bunch of U.S. citizen kids, and are just waiting for the day that some law passes that allows them to get their green card or a work permit. And it literally would benefit them to, at least based on current law, to go steal something at Walmart, get arrested for a small misdemeanor petty theft conviction, get put into proceedings so I could go win their case in court. Now, I'm not obviously suggesting that they do that, but what's super unfair to these people is that they've done nothing wrong except for come to this country to seek a better life. They've literally done nothing else wrong in their entire lives, which I don't think is wrong, coming here to seek a better life, but they're here illegally. They're waiting for a chance to get a work permit or a green card, and I can't do anything for them. And so we need not just to protect the people that had DACA, we need to protect other people, like the DAPA law that was passed by President Obama and stopped by some Texas and some other states in federal court. So it's very important, again, if you're listening to this and you're scared about your legal status, or that you just may have ended DACA because of the rescission by President Trump today, know that you very likely qualify for this cancellation of removal. You would need to go talk to a lawyer to make sure. You need to have a qualifying relative, and the qualifying relatives are U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident children, spouses, or parents. And so make sure that if you have any questions, you can talk to a experienced lawyer that's been to court and fought these cases and won them, as I have. It's a very difficult case to win, but it is possible. And again, the funny thing is that it literally gives people a work permit while their case is pending, and then if I win, it gets them a green card. And so if you really put all these people, all 12 million people, into deportation proceedings, many of them have rights, and many of them will exercise that right to see a judge. And right now, we're already setting hearings 3 and 4 years out, at least here in San Francisco. And so that means we'd probably be setting hearings out about, 10 or 20 years. And so that means they get a work permit for 10 or 20 years. And then if I was able to win their case, I'd get a green card for them. So, and that's just what's silly about the whole situation. Like, rescinding DACA is some sort of moral victory for many people on the far right, but it really doesn't accomplish anything. And it actually hurts our economy, hurts the communities of these good people that are here, working, going to school, and just trying to live their life. Again, if you have questions, please give my office a call, 559-440-6067. My consultations are free, and I'll be able to advise you about the changes in the DACA law today, and if you're eligible for that cancellation of removal case that I previously talked about. And also, you should investigate whether you may be eligible for any other kind of relief. Go talk to a lawyer in your area that you live and see if there's anything else that they can do for you. There's U visas if you've ever been the victim of a violent crime. You may potentially be eligible for a U visa. If you are married or considering getting married, you potentially could do what's called consular processing and win a waiver, most likely, to get a green card rather than just a work permit. So please go seek legal help, get a good, competent lawyer in your area, and see if you can do anything to help your situation. Again, if you want to give my office a call, even if you can't come in person because you don't live close, I will still give you a free consult over the phone. My number, 559-440-6067. Thank you.